Hi guys, hope you're fine and doing well. So today we will be discussing this problem from the lead code, which is partition array for maximum sum. This is the 13th problem of the dynamic programming series. If you haven't watched the previous videos, you can consider watching them since it will be really helpful for you to understand the concepts in upcoming videos. So let's get started with this question. So the question says that we are given an integer array. We have to partition that array into subarrays of contiguous subarrays of length at most k. And after partitioning, each subarray has their values changed to become the maximum value of that subarray. Then we have to return the largest sum of the given array after partitioning. So let's consider this first test case. So the problem wants to say that, for example, if we select this part of the subarray and k is 3 in this case, and let the next subarray be of size 2 and next subarray be of size 2 again. So basically the new array will look something like 15, 15, 15. We have to choose like if we have created this subarray, then we have to choose the maximum element from it, and all the other elements of that subarray will be changed to that maximum value. And similarly, if for this case we have selected a subarray of size 2, then the maximum value here will be 9, and the values will be like this, 9 and 9. And similar is the case for this. Here the maximum value is 10, so we will be updating the values to 10. Now the question says that we have to return the maximum sum after after we got this array. So for this case, the sum will be 45 plus 18 plus 20, which is 65 and 83. Yes. So for this case, the sum is 83. So similarly, we are free to choose a subarray of any size, which is less than or equal to k. Like we can choose here 1, then the other combination that is possible is like we choose next 3, and here we choose 2 and let it be single only. So this is how we have to choose all the subarrays, and then we have to build our answer. So let's see how can we approach this question. So for this test case, like the output is 84. So this is the maximum value of that subarray. So what we will consider is like this is our DP array, and we will iterate over this array and assume that, for example, if we stand at this particular index, then what does this index mean? This index means to say that the it will contain the maximum sum value up till this index. Like if this was only the array given to us, then this particular index will contain the maximum value of the sum that is required. So similarly, we will build up our answer and we have to return this particular index. So let's see how can this be done. So for this case, the k is 3. So let's build up our answer. For when we are at the first index, then what all possibilities are there? There is only single possibility, and at this particular index, the when we are given this only this array, then we cannot choose any other subarray out of it. So the answer for this is 1. And when we have two values, then what is the possibility? First possibility is that this array can be divided into like this. And for this case, the answer is 16, basically 1 plus 15. And what is the other possibility that we have? The other possibility that we have is like we can just consider whole of this array, because and the size is 2. So we are given the maximum k value as 3, so it is less than it. So we can consider that too. Now our array will be updated to something like 15 and again 15. So for this case, the total sum that we will get is 15 multiplied by 2, which is 30. So out of these two values, which is the maximum one? It is obviously 30. So we conclude that up till this index, we will the best case answer will be 30. So if we move to the next index, let me change the color. Yes. So if we move to this index, when we are standing at this index, now what all answers are possible? First answer that is possible is like we can simply select these three cases. And for this case, the answer will be 7 plus 15, which is 22, 23. So first possibility will be 23. And what other possibility is there? That if we select these two and let it be single. So for this case, the answer will be 15. This index will also contain 15 value, and this will also change to 15 because for this subarray, the maximum value is 15. So 30 plus this value 1, which is 31. So other value that is possible is 31. And what other way is possible? The other way that is possible is if we select these two at a time and let it be a single. So for this case, the answer will be 15 here, 15 here, and then 7, which is 37, which is 37. And what other possibility is also there that we choose all the indices and create it to one subarray. So for this case, the answer will be changed to the first index will also contain 15, second also, and third also. So the answer will be so the answer will be 45. So out of all these values, which is the maximum value? 45. Okay, we can write it, but the main question arises is like how we will divide, how we will decide that we are dividing it as it like this or we are doing it like this, then how can we think of it? So we need to consider one thing that if we are standing at this index, then if we are taking these two values together, which will be 15 and 15, this will be 15 and this will also change to 15, then what can we do is we can simply just take the answer up till this previous index. And the logical reason why we will select just the previous value is like we can think it like this. For example, yes, we are given this whole array and we are currently standing at this particular index. So we are just considering these two values, right? And we are not taking this part like this and this. We are not calculating it. Why? Because we have already calculated the answer for this part of our array and which is at this particular index. This index will contain that value. So we can simply what do is we can just create these two values to 9 and 9 and then pick up the answer at this index, which is xyz, anything that will be, and we can add both of them and it will contribute to one of the answers of this array. And what the other possibilities is like if we select these three values and this part of the array is left, and we don't need to calculate for this part again because we have calculated it here. So what we will do is we will just initialize these three values to 9, all the three values to 9, and we will just do like this: 9 multiplied by 3, and we will just add the answer of basically this index. Let's consider it to be x, which is just before this 3, right? So this is what we are required to do, and that is the main reason that why we will just select the previous value. So let's do this calculation again with this approach. Yes, so since we are standing at this index, so when we are considering it to this part only, so the array that will be left out is this part. For this, the answer will be 7 plus the answer at this index, which is 30. So it will be 37. And what other possibility is there? The other possibility that is there is we just select this array, and the rest array that is left out is this part. So the answer for this will be 15 and 15, which is 30, plus the answer at just previous index, which is 1. So 31. And what is the last case? That we select all these three values. So for this case, the answer will be 45. So now, out of these three values, which is the maximum one? It is 45. So we will substitute our answer to be 45. So let's fill this for the next index. For this index, let's do the same thing. When we consider it alone, so 9, and the answer for this part of the array, which is 45. So the answer for the first contributing answer will be 9 plus 45, which is 54. So what other thing is possible when we select these two indices as one subarray, and the subarray that the array that will be left is this part. So we don't care like how this particular array is being divided, whether it is being taken like this or this, because we have already calculated the answer for that part, right? So for this case, when we have taken these two elements together, so the answer will be 9 and 9, which is 18. 18 plus the answer at this index, which is 30, which is 48. So what is the last case that is possible? When we take these three values together, and the only left out array is this. So when we take these three values together, so since 15 is the maximum element, so 15, 15, 15 will be the values of all the indices. So which will be 45 plus the value at this index, which is 46. So only these cases are possible since k is 3. So we can just divide it into 1, 2, and 3, and we can take maximum k elements together. So out of these values, which is the maximum one? It is 54. So 54 will be the answer up till this index. And when we move to the next, so for this case, it will be the first is when we take it alone, and then this is the array left out. And for this array, the answer will be this. So 54 plus 2 value alone, which is 56. This is the one first contributing answer. And what is the second? When we take them together, so the values here will be 9 and 9, 18. 18 plus the answer at for this array is 45. 18 plus 45, which is 63. Yes. So what is the other case that is possible when we take these three elements together? So all the three elements will be 9. So 27 plus this particular value, which is 30, which is for this part of the array. So it will be 57. So these are the all only ways possible for this part. So the maximum value out of them is 63. So we will just substitute it by 63. So what is for the next index? For the next index is 5 or answer for whole array, which is 63. 63 plus 5, which is 68. So one of the contributing answers for this index is 68. And what other thing is possible when we take two at a time? So 5 and 5, 10, and this answer for this array, it is 64. In the last case, when we take these three together and answer for this part. So the maximum value out of these three elements is 9. So all the values of these indices will be 9. So 27 plus 45, which is for this part. So the answer will be 27 plus 45, which is 72. And for the last, and 72 is the maximum, so we will substitute it by 72. And for the last case, what are all the values possible? It is when we take, let me change the color. Yes, when we take 10 alone, then answer for this part, it will be 10 plus 72, which is 82. One of the contributing answers will be 82. The other answer that will contribute is when we take these two together. So 20, since 10 is the maximum value, 20. And for this part is 63, which is 83. 83 is the other contributing answer. And for the last, it's all these values. So maximum value out of these three elements is 10. So 30 plus 54, which is 84. So the value is 84. So we have simply to return this value, which is the last index. And let's confirm that is our answer 84 only. Yes. So the answer is 84. So let's code this problem. So firstly, I will just rename it to A, and I'll create DP array of the size same as the array that we're given. And now I will simply just initialize the first index to the basically first value, which is shown here also. So I'll start the for loop from first index, and it will go up till the last index. And then I'll initialize a variable max, which is 0, and in max value, which is also equal to 0. So now I will just initialize the variable j with the particular index I am standing on, and I will just move how many maximum steps that I can move is to the backward is, which is maximum of, either it will be 0 since we cannot go to negative, and I minus k plus 1. K plus 1 because I minus k, we have to include, we are including that particular index too where we are standing, and we have to just do j minus minus. So my max value represents is that, for example, if I select these two values, then out of these two values, which is the maximum one? So this is what max value represents, and the max that represents is like out of all these values, which will contribute to this answer. So my max value will be maximum of a of j and max value itself, and my max will be math.max. Now here are some cases that will arise. If j is greater than 0, else if j is equal to 0. Because if, like, if we select this part, so if we will do, we will select the value for previous index, so it will give us an exception. So we can't do that. So we are just taking that if the particular j value is 0. So if it is greater than 0, like if we choose is 7, 9 into, this is what we choose, then a previous value is available to us for the array, we can access it. So the max will be, which is I minus j plus 1 multiplied by max value plus dp of j minus 1. And for this part also it is similar, but the only difference that will be is we will just not do plus dp of j minus 1, because when j is equal to 0 and then we are accessing j minus 1, then it will be dp of minus 1, which is not possible, and it will give exception, and we will just then give the value of to dp of I is equal to max, and what we are required to return is dp of n minus 1. So let's run this code and see. So yes, it is getting accepted, and let's submit it. So yes, the question is accepted. So I hope you understood the solution, and in case of any queries or doubts, you can comment down below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And if you appreciate my work, you can consider subscribing to my channel and give a thumbs up to this video. So let's meet in the next video. Bye bye.